Hey guys, what's going on? So today I have an album review for Condemned with Desecrate the Vile. Before we start, I'm sorry it's been a long ass time since I did a review on here. I've been fucking busy because I just started my third year of college. And also I just haven't really been in the mood to make videos, honestly, and I don't want to give you guys any less than 100% when it comes to the quality of this. So I've just been kind of waiting for the right time, but I'm feeling it right now, so I figured why not. And also I'm sure you guys all noticed my fucking facial hair right off the bat. I grew out more. So, yeah. Anyways, if you don't know Condemned, legendary fucking brutal death metal band from San Diego, California. This is their first album from 2007, Desecrate the Vile. I've been listening to this album since like my senior year of high school, and I've always really liked this album. But I just saw them open for Decrepit Birth about a month ago, and hearing these songs live really gave me an even greater appreciation for this album. And it's kind of one of those things where you see a band live and then you like them more after. So yeah, it was a really nice experience, and I've been listening to this album a shit ton lately for the past month. So yeah, this is just the digipack reissue put out through Lacerate Enemy Records. I'd much rather have the jewel case, but what can you do? It's not the worst quality digipack. It's all glossy and shit. But I got the CD signed by their guitarist Steve Crow at the show, so that was really fucking cool. But anyways, yeah, first album from 2007, Condemned style of brutal death metal. It feels very slam adjacent. If you're a fan of like Epicardiectomy, Cephalotripsy, which, you know, same vocalist and drummer on this album, Cephalotripsy, Cerebral Incubation, Short Bus Pileup. If you like stuff like that, you'll like this album, but it's not a slam album. It is definitely more brutal death metal. But production-wise, the vocals, the drum sound, and even some of the riffs, it is very slammy, but it's also very in line with the technical sort of brutal death metal you'd get from bands like Disgorge, Defeated Sanity, Gorgasm, Cerebral Fusion, stuff like that. This album feels like a merging of those two styles. It's as intelligent and as technical as all those bands I just named, but it's also as like fun and catchy and kind of funky sounding as a lot of those slam bands from the 2000s and early 2010s. Yeah, really fucking cool album, and definitely an essential album when it comes to 2000s brutal death metal. So there's 10 songs on here, and all of them, with the exception of Habitual Depravity, are under 3 minutes long. Some of them are even under 2 minutes long. This album is very short and to the point, which I really like. This album's about half an hour long, but the last song on here, Amputated Repugnance, there's like a 9 or 10 minute long like ambient outro for like almost no reason other than, I assume, to extend the length of the album, which reminds me a lot of like Decrepit Birth's End Time Begins. It's like that, but even longer. So yeah, it's just kind of a weird thing, but I usually just turn the CD off at that point because I don't feel like sitting through fucking near 10 minutes of ambience. But yeah, the standout tracks on here, I'd say the first song, Fixation on Suffering, Habitual Depravity, and Chapter of Defilement. Fixation on Suffering is a perfect fucking album opener because this album just kicks right into it with really quick, just that riff, the da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and the vocal break, and then they go right into blasting technical riffs, fucking pig squeals from Angel Ochoa. I'd say this has Angel Ochoa's second best vocal performance on any album, right behind, obviously, Cephalotripsy, which came out the same year, so he sounds about the same on here as he did on Cephalotripsy. He doesn't use quite as much vocal variety on here as he does on Cephalotripsy. He does do all the crazy pig squeals and gutturals that he does, and he sounds like pretty much like he did on Cephalotripsy on here, because his vocals have definitely changed up a lot nowadays. He sounds more kind of frog, those vocals nowadays, but like on here and on Cephalotripsy, just back in 2007, he had a much more nasally sort of guttural, really wet sound. Just had a lot of personality to it. I really love his vocals, and there's a reason why Angel Ochoa is pretty much the most popular brutal death metal vocalist from this era, and even to this day, fucking, you know, he's still doing guest vocals for everybody. It's insane. But yeah, the drum sound on here is also pretty similar to Cephalotripsy. I'm pretty sure it's the same snare. It's like pingy, but not in a ringy sort of way. It's got a really nice crack to it that I don't really know how to explain, but if you've heard it, you know what I mean. The kicks aren't quite as pummeling sounding as Cephalotripsy. I don't want to spend this whole review comparing this to Cephalotripsy, but the lineup similarity you could definitely hear, and just the way the drumming is. Although the drumming on here is much faster than Cephalotripsy, because this album is much more blast beat oriented. It's pretty fast. It's not like putridity levels of speed, but it's definitely faster than like Disgorge or something. Guitar tone, very, very scooped. There's two guitars on here, and you can kind of tell the difference between the two guitarists as far as their tone goes, but they're pretty similar, you know, really scooped. Kind of similar to like Consume the Forsaken, I suppose, or And Time Begins, that kind of guitar tone where it's very scooped and raw sounding, but it's very polished. But yeah, the bass tone on here is also like pretty clean. There's a few bass breaks in here, like on Chapter Defilement, I know there's one. But yeah, song structure wise, it's really cool because they have a lot of those really discordy, like single note, dissonant, fucking chromatic riffs that are, you know, really fast and sync up with each blast beat hit. But they also have a lot of really fun slams that are like, this band's really good at introducing slams in a way where it's like, you know, fast part, a lot of build up, and then fucking cymbal choke, and then they'll start playing the, you know, guitar break, chug by itself. Oh shit, we're gonna go into a slam. They play a slam, and then, you know, you groove out to it for a bit, and then they slow it down, and then it's like, all right, cool, fucking breakdown. You know, it's gonna slow down, and right when you think it can't get any more intense and slow and energetic, then they slow it down even more from there. They do that in Habitual Depravity. It's like my favorite part of the song. And they take such a simple riff and do so much with it, which is something I really like about this album. It just brings a lot of energy, and this album just makes you want to fucking move. It's a really fun album to listen to. But yeah, that's something I really appreciate about their song structure, is that they know how to be intelligent and technical while also having a lot of fun and making you still want to like move around and dance. Because there's stuff you listen to, like a lot of the blastier oriented bands, I love those bands, and that's like one of my favorite styles of brutal death metal. But it's a little hard to move to sometimes, whereas this album does that but brings in groove, and it brings in just that kind of weird funkiness that a lot of slam from this era has into brutal death metal, which I think is really fucking cool. I don't know how to explain what I mean by weird funkiness, but you know, the way the vocals sound and the drums, guitar tone, it's a certain production sound that I really love. But yeah, Habitual Depravity is a great track. Chapter Defilement is one of the standout songs on here because it has guest vocals from both Sean Whitaker and Sam Townsley. Sam Townsley, I don't know what other bands he was in other than in Condemned, because I know he ended up doing vocals for Condemned's third album, and he has a more like traditional, just kind of low, not super guttural or wet sounding, but just kind of low, harsh vocals. Similar to kind of more old school death metal-y kind of shit. And then Sean Whitaker from Insidious Discrepancy and Viral Load, you guys know what he sounds like. Kind of weirdly slurred sort of lows. And hearing all three of those vocalists on the same track is really great. There's a lot of awesome pinch harmonic heavy riffs on that song. This album just has a really energetic and grandiose atmosphere to it, but it's also ugly and raw sounding as fuck. This album is as nasty and like violent sounding as a lot of slam from this era sounds, but it feels as grandiose and like evil as an album like Consume the Forsaken or And Time Begins, where it's like really big sounding and chaotic. This album mixes those two things very well. I didn't even get to talk about the album cover yet. It's funny, looking at this album cover, you would assume it's some like really clean, kind of technical brutal death metal you'd see on like Unique Leader nowadays or something like that. You know, you'd assume this would be like, I forgot the name of the band, but you know, it looks like it'd be some shit you'd see on like indie merch. But then you listen to this and it's like raw and nasty, which I really love. But yeah, I wouldn't change the artwork though. The lyrics on here seem to be a little more kind of abstract. You can tell by the song titles, like Subject to Infliction, Servants of Derangement, Internally Devoured. I think one of the sickest song titles on here though is Mutilating the Inferior. That's a really fucking cool one. But yeah, overall, I'd say this album's like a 9 out of 10. I love how short and to the point it is. The only thing stopping me from giving this a 10 really is that thing at the end, the ambient outro. It's just kind of weird, but it doesn't really do any detriment to the actual music on here. But yeah, very fucking fun album to listen to. Love this album. Condemned, Desecrate the Vile, 9 out of 10. Check it out if you have not, because it's pretty essential in my opinion when it comes to 2000s brutal death metal. But yeah, that's it for this video though. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.